Do you struggle with stress, anxiety to where it's affecting your health? I want to shine some light on some things about our central nervous system that may help you. There are two divisions that I want to specifically talk about when it comes to our nervous system. One is the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is the fight or flight, and the parasympathetic is rest and digest. When the sympathetic nervous system is activated, or the fight or flight, the body takes on some physical changes. Your heart rate increases, your muscles tense up, your breathing increases, your body does not digest. There are things that your body is preparing for in case of a reason for it needs to protect itself. It is normal for our sympathetic nervous system to be activated on a very basic level, and we call that homeostasis. It is ideal for our body to be in homeostasis majority of the time. When dealing with everyday life stressors, it's pretty common that we activate our sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight, even though we're not in immediate danger, just like the alarm not going off and waking up late and are dealing with screaming kids in the morning, or overplating yourself with activities, or the list goes on. And we can activate that sympathetic nervous system where our body becomes very tense and if we're doing this chronically, we could set ourselves up with lots of health issues in the future. When we do experience everyday life stressors and the fight or flight mode is activated, naturally we're supposed to be able to go back into the rest and digest, or the parasympathetic nervous system. Rest and digest, that's where we want to be. And it's natural if you do activate the fight or flight, then giving it a good amount of time, it goes back into the rest and digest. And that is what we typically want. If we have experienced some type of trauma in our life, it might be a lot more difficult for your nervous system to bring you back into the rest and digest mode. So it's going to take more time and more intention to help train your body to relax and get back into that homeostasis state. I'm going to go over some ways that we can implement to help train our body to bring us back into the rest and digest state. So first of all, we have to address what is triggering our stress level, what is triggering our cortisol. Is it that you aren't giving yourself enough time to get up in the mornings to get everyone ready and out the door without feeling that anxiousness? Maybe you need to get up earlier to give yourself some time to prep the morning. Now that's an example, but there are things that are triggering that we can find solutions for that can prevent those cortisol spikes to the best of our ability. We will not be able to prevent all stressors in our day. We can't do that. We can't control every ounce of our day. But what we can control is what we need to focus on. So what can you do to help prevent your stress level and prevent those cortisol spikes, so that way we can help protect our nervous system? Okay, I want you to think about that. Now, during the days, practicing deep breathing helps calm your nervous system, helps lower your heart rate, and that is a very easy technique you can practice anytime that you start feeling anxious. Another way is we need to have intentional blocks of time. It doesn't have to be long. It could be 3 minutes. Intentional time where we do some self-check-ins. Now, it could be in your morning routine, midday at work, in the evening before bed, but just time where you are sitting with yourself, seeing what your needs are. Another form of self-care is meditation, just being present with yourself, asking yourself, do you need more water? How are you feeling? Just being there with yourself. You could go outside midday and sit in the sun, whatever it is. This is going to help prevent those cortisol spikes to the best of our ability. Another way of being intentional with caring for your body is doing some stretching. You could do yoga, light stretching, any kind of routine that just puts care, intentional care into your body, lengthening your muscles, taking care of you. That helps your stress levels so much. Another thing that I find super helpful is listening to things that make me feel good. It could be motivational podcasts, it could be an audiobook, listening or reading things that make you feel good, inspired. So be thinking about that, but also doing things that feel good as well. So things maybe on the weekend, you take some time for yourself, and that where you're not outputting your energy to your kids, your family, you're prepping for the next week, whatever it is, having some self-care time where you're doing something that you truly love. If that's gardening, if that's doing some window shopping, if that's going for a walk outside with your kids, whatever it is. But if it feels good, then we need to practice that as part of your self-care routine to prevent you living in that fight or flight mode. I want to circle back around to the trauma discussion that I mentioned earlier. When someone has experienced extreme trauma, their bodies want to live in the fight or flight. It's very difficult for them to calm their body enough, calm their nervous system to be in the rest and digest mode. So practicing these tools that I just mentioned is very helpful, but it has to be even more intentional for the ones that experience that extreme trauma. So not only do you need to practice these tools, you have to be very more aware that you might need a little bit more time and effort to put into it to help your body retrain itself to be in that rest and digest mode. I think it's very important to remember that if you have experienced trauma in your life and you have pretty much lived in the fight or flight mode, to give yourself some patience, because if you struggle with if you struggle with high blood pressure, muscle tension, unhealthy gut balance, adrenal fatigue, these are just some symptoms of chronically living in the fight or flight mode. So we have to intentionally put time in to help retrain our bodies to realize that it's okay, that everything is fine, and it can relax and live in the rest and digest mode.